Hi there, I hope you are doing fantastic here on Friday, the 21st of August, 2020. There are a few areas in the tropics that warrant some watching. Of course, the main topic is the one I've been watching for a few days, Invest 90W. Now, this guy is still very disorganized. If you are in the Philippines, especially across Luzon, though, Friday is a wet one. You got plenty of showers moving through, and heading into the latter part of the weekend and into early next week, the southern Japanese islands and western Japan got to keep a close eye on this. I also want to show the bigger picture to start off because there's another area, not an invest, but a disturbance located east of the Marshall Islands, way out near the international date line. Plenty of time to watch that, but it is there. I know for a fact people will start to ask about that in the near future. With that said, let's talk about our low pressure area. Now, to say it is disorganized would be an understatement. I mean, look, it's hard to even find the low-level center here on infrared imagery. It's mixed up in there somewhere. Yeah, you still got some outflow, some of that moisture pushing in, so that is bringing a few thunderstorms across southern Japanese islands, but the big thing is that it is continuing to flow the moisture in across Luzon. So even if this is not a full-blown storm system, it continues a decent amount of rainfall for northern areas of the Philippines. Now, the big issue, though, with that southwesterly flow is that it is creating an abundance of wind shear. So it's kind of keeping it disrupted on the southwestern periphery, plus a little bit of that inflow here on the eastern areas of Luzon. About 25 to 30 knots of shear is keeping it a little disorganized as well. So there's a lot of factors going against it, but look out here towards Okinawa. This is Taiwan, Okinawa right there, western Japan, by the way, just so you kind of have an idea. Now look out here, the shear's a bit lower. As this tracks towards the north and it starts to erode away that WestPac high, we'll begin to move into an area of more favorable development. Now, I'm going to show you two different models, the GFS and the European model. There's no official track on it, so I want to compare these two models up and just show you where the confidence does lie on where this storm system will go, because it's not all too common when you have a developing storm system and both of them about 96 to 100 hours out agree on the placement and somewhat of the intensity of a system. This is the European model showing our storm system by Sunday evening really spinning up once it gets into that low vertical wind shear, hits the Kuroshio current near Okinawa. This would be a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm if this was to pass. Always, 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 when you have a developing storm system, keyword is if. I don't want people to be like, but Robert said, which happens every time. This is by Sunday evening as well. The GFS model showing something very similar, actually a pretty deepening tropical storm right over the island of Okinawa. So you got two of the main numerical guidance. Now, back models have not been in agreement, but the latest model run is something just to keep in mind. I also want to show you the GFS Ensemble with the spaghetti plot here. It does kind of have a general agreement with the initialization of these ensembles that it is going to move across these southern Japanese islands. Now, how strong? That's up for debate. I think a tropical storm is probable, but you have to keep in mind that we don't in the center of the storm system, so the initialization is a little bit tough. Now, with all of that said, here's the GFS showing you by Sunday morning over Okinawa. This would be kind of a worst-case scenario. It's there. It is a possibility. I've seen this image shared a lot on social media. Always keep in mind, Vintusky and Windy, great websites. Those are not the end-all and all, just overall forecast. That's just the GFS model I'm showing you right here. It is not an overall forecast, but it is a good place to start if you've looked at everything else I've showed you right now and compared it with other things. This just tells me, though, be ready for something. You are out here across Okinawa and the southern Japanese islands. Now is the time to start making those preparations, because what's going to happen is if this does spin up pretty quickly right towards the west, which I've seen in the past, the T-Core system fails. I know the guys at the METOC office there. They're all great forecasters, but they are handcuffed by the system that is in place. And if you don't get a system that develops well ahead of time, you don't get those 96, 72, 48 hours lead up for the military out there. So just something to keep in mind. You do want to just kind of make those preparations now, start picking up. It's not going to be a full-on typhoon based on everything I'm reading right now. Rapid intensification does occur. We saw that with Higos, but something to keep in mind. All right, I'm showing you the extended forecast here. Just Kyushu could see a pretty decent storm system there eventually by the mid to latter part of next week. Models are all over the place of what it wants to do with this, though. It's buffered by that high pressure to the north. Some take it out towards Korea. Some push it back down towards the south and have it do a couple loops. I mean, we can go back to the spaghetti plot here, and you can just see that huge spread once that does push past Okinawa and eventually out towards Western Japan. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the extended forecast. But places, Western Japan, Kyushu, Shikoku, Western Honshu, keeping a close eye on this, and maybe even South Korea too. I know this model shows it, the European doesn't, but you know, there's all that variation. So for now, this is an area to watch. I will continue to watch it all week, and if you got questions, comments, suggestions, please let me know in the comment box below. And as always, of course, number one thing, stay safe out there. My friends, I hope you have a wonderful Friday.